Under new business, number 13C, add resolution 2252, authorizing the sale of real property owned by the city of Milaca to Milaca Mini Storage LLC. And under new business, add item 13E, special event permit for the Milaca Chambers tree lighting. And then we will remove 13B, the RecFest agreement. We are not quite ready for that yet. We're close. We just gonna have to get more time with Damien for that. Anything else on the agenda?
Nope.
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda passes. On the consent agenda tonight is the approval of the minutes from October 19th, 2022, approval of bills, resolution 2248, application to sell THC and tobacco products, the Mellow Fellow, resolution 2249, canvassing election results for the 2022 general election. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda passes. Citizens Forum. If there's anybody here that would like to address the council regarding something that is not on the agenda.
I would.
Oh,
I don't have the agenda, I wasn't presented with one, but I would like to go over some of the city ordinances in town.
first state your name and address, please.
Beth Palmer, 610 3rd Avenue Southeast, Milaca.
Okay. Go ahead.
So last year, I got in contact with my neighbor and tried to work this out with her face to face and with no solution. So then I called the city and I also called the sheriff's department, and I believe it was Jeff Shaw that actually went over and spoke with the resident about the way they have a home and they have a lot behind their house, and they basically don't do anything with it, as far as mowing, their leaves, trimming of their trees, things like that. They don't particularly live there, their mother lives there, so there's a bunch of them in and out, kids, grandkids, people that are well capable of addressing the issue that several of the neighbors have. So she has a tarp, a very large, very large. Rakes all of her leaves and things on it from the front of the house, the sides of the house, and dumps it in the backyard, which basically is right, my patio is right there, and they're physically blowing right in my yard and on my patio. And my husband and I think we work pretty hard on our yard to keep it presentable for the city. And I don't feel that I should have to do it 3 and 4 times over again. I don't know, I know people, I've heard that composting is a thing. I don't know, it's been unclear as to if it is, if it isn't, does it have to be contained? I mean, I don't see my other neighbors filling tarps full of leaves that are literally 6 feet deep and dumping them to where they're blowing in other people's yards. Mm-hmm. They're blowing in the storm drains, and it's a nuisance.
Okay.
And Beth, I have been in contact with their daughter, and she's kind of filled me in on some of the animosity between you two neighbors. And
no.
And then she's also, irregardless, in between the two property owners, I'm working with the daughter to try to get those cleaned up. Of course, now with the snow, that's going to be impossible, I would imagine. We have also contacted Jim's because we have the composting, and I let her know that they can take their leaves there for free. So that's been done. And we've also contacted Jim's for these properties that don't clean up, so that, we contract with them. So in the spring, we're going to do a spring cleanup and work with Jim's and Black's Disposal and work through getting all of these properties in town cleaned up. So if we have to do that, we can assess those properties for the cleanup. Okay?
Okay, just to follow up a little on that, so this has been ongoing from last summer and the summer before, so she's well aware of
Yeah.
what she's supposed to be doing and not
Yeah.
doing, so, and she continues to do it season after season.
Right, and she is an elderly lady that is on hospice, so she doesn't have much time left, from what I'm understanding. She's unable to do it herself, so she has to rely on her family members.
So you at least have been in contact with them and
Oh,
hopefully
absolutely.
something's moving
Yep.
forward and,
Yep, so next spring, that is one of them on our list that we will take care of.
Okay.
All right?
thank you. Anyone else? Hearing nothing, public hearing, nothing tonight.
Nope.
Request communications, nothing. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 506, Chapter 31, Boards, Commissions, and Departments, first reading, Planning Commission. Can I get a motion for that? Sorry.
So move.
I'll second.
This was just a little cleaning up of a couple things, correct?
This is to increase their compensation
Yep, we changed some language, or got rid of some
Yeah.
language and, okay.
to $50 per meeting.
Any questions on that?
No?
All good? Hearing none, all in favor of ordinance 506?
Aye.
Aye. Ordinance passes. Resolution 2250, calling for a public hearing for TIF District for CKW Developers LLC and Rum River Living LLC.
This would be when Shannon, if you want him to.
Okay, well, I'll get a motion first. Can I get a
Sure.
motion?
I'll make a motion. Second.
Discussion, go ahead. It's all yours. Thanks.
Sure, thanks. Good evening. Shannon Sweeney with David Drown Associates. We're municipal finance advisors that serve cities in the areas of public finance, including subsidies. We've been doing your TIF reporting for a while, but haven't actually interacted with the council myself. My boss has, David Drown. But ultimately, the city has received a request from CKW Developers and Rum River Living for tax increment financing assistance for the construction of an 8-unit apartment project. Tax increment financing, or TIF, is an economic development tool that's created under Minnesota statute that enables the city to capture new property taxes associated with new development that occurs within the boundaries of a TIF district. So in this instance, the developers are proposing to construct on vacant land an 8-unit housing project that ultimately would be valued by the assessor at $684,000. That incremental increase in market value over the vacant land value of $29,000 will generate a gross tax increment of $12,879 a year in new property tax that are attributed to city, county, and school district taxes that can be captured within this district, redirected by the county to the city, and used for specific purposes, including the reimbursement of eligible expenses associated with the construction of a housing project. So they build an apartment building. That apartment building pays much higher property taxes than the vacant land is currently paying. If a TIF district is created, the city captures much of that new property tax if they create a tax increment financing district. What happens is the county inputs the TIF district into their tax collection system. They capture that portion that's eligible as tax increment, and they distribute it back to the city. Ultimately, what generally happens is that there's an agreement between the city and the developer to reimburse a portion of that revenue stream. A portion is usually retained by the city to cover administrative costs that are eligible, again, under state statute, and the balance is generally used to subsidize a project. As a result of using that subsidy, the developer is required to meet some requirements that are also imposed by state statute, namely 20% of the units have to be made available to folks that are at or below 50% of area median income. And so what does that mean? And it's by family size and it's by county. So for 2022 in Mille Lacs County, for a single person, that would be $29,200 in household income. For two people, it would be $33,350. Three would be $37,500. Four would be $41,650, and so on. So it doesn't cap what the developer is able to charge for rent. It's a requirement that 20% of the units have to be made available to folks that are at that income or below by family size. So 2 out of the 8. The state rounds up on something like that. So, and they would have to maintain that for the life of the subsidy. Now you say, well, it's a subsidized project and it's low income. I would tell you that most new construction in greater Minnesota that's rental housing is requesting and being provided some form of TIF assistance. And it's essentially creating most of the market rate housing in greater Minnesota. While it's a subsidy during the duration of the TIF district, these folks still have to have jobs, make income, and pay rent that's comparable to what everybody else is paying. So at the end of the day, it's commonly viewed as market rate housing, even though there's a subsidy associated with trying to get it developed. One of the issues is that if we haven't had new construction for a while, particularly in rental housing, we don't have comparable rents in our community that appraiser can point to and say, we're able to charge what it costs to support new construction. One of the ways that folks try to overcome that challenge is by using tax increment financing to assist. So that's the request that's before you. A tax increment financing district for housing can survive for up to 26 increment collections or 26 years. The developer has requested 10 years worth of assistance. Their request was essentially based on the full gross tax increment. We had recommended that ultimately that should be pared back to 90% so that the city would retain sufficient increment to cover administrative costs should you decide that it's appropriate to proceed. Process for creating a tax increment district involves calling for a public hearing, which is the action that's before you tonight. If you choose to proceed and call for a public hearing, that would be held at your January 19th meeting. The reason that's so far out is that under statute, we're required to provide notification to the county and school district of our intentions to create this tax increment district. A plan is drafted that creates a budget, designates the property to be included, and talks about what we're trying to accomplish within this TIF district. And that plan is distributed to the county and school district and the county commissioner whose district this is in well in advance of that public hearing date. This county and school district get 30 days notice. So they're invited to attend the public hearing. They seldom do, but they're made aware of what we're up to. So I'm here tonight to answer questions because it's probably been a while since you've gone through this process or visited about tax increment financing. So I'm not here to talk you into anything. I'm here to answer questions. So more than happy to answer questions you have on this process and what it all means.
Are you saying like 2 of the 8 would be subsidized,
2 of the 8 would be required to be made available
made available?
to folks that meet that income restriction.
So would that involve adjusting the monthly rent then, or?
Only if the developer has to, I would suggest. But no, they're not required to do so. It's not a rent fixing program. You just got to make them available to folks at that income level.
Any other questions?
We only have one other TIF district, and that's Teals.
Yep.
That was the last one we did, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. That was a really good explanation. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Good, if there's no other questions. All in favor of Resolution 2250? We had a motion a second, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay, I before I ask for a vote. All in favor of Resolution 2250, indicate with an aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Resolution 2251, calling for a public hearing for annexation and approving petition for annexation.
Thank you, Shannon.
And this was what you just sent us, right? We got in the packet here.
Did we get a motion, Dave?
What's that?
Did we get a-
No, I did not,
Okay.
sorry. I jumped right into looking for it.
Okay.
Can I get a motion for 2251, please?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Now discussion. Thank you, Tammy. Anything on that? This is already presently city property,
Yes,
correct?
it is. And would like
course,
to get
owned by
this,
the city, I should say.
yeah, would like to get this accomplished before we update the comp plan completely, so that this could be included in city limits. It currently houses no population. It's the property that is on the airport road. That way, economic development could further develop this property into industrial property. It's already, would be zoned as industrial. So, and there is infrastructure grants out there that we can tap into to get water and sewer to that property.
Any questions? Otherwise, all in favor of Resolution 2251?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution 2251 passes. Reports, departments, boards, commissions, city manager.
Just about 90% done with the comp plan. Just have a few more maps to get from Phil. And that should be ready. And then once the annexation is done, then we can get that to planning and zoning, get them to review it and see if they have any changes. And then it would come to council for final approval.
Okay. Police, Quinn, anything going on? Well, there's plenty going on, I'm sure.
Yeah. As for our calls for service, pretty normal, as I was trying to get you a printout, just to hand out at the meeting today that I couldn't get into the system for. Other than that, really no big news. We recently, actually, most departments within the state were allowed access to a grant program, which they made it very easy to replace our current AEDs or defibrillators. And so we replaced the 3 that are in the squad cars. They actually, I believe, if I remember correctly, as the pads for the AEDs are used, they'll even send us more pads for a period of years. So our AEDs that we had were likely over 10 years old, so it's probably something we would have been looking at pretty quick here anyways, so it's great to have gotten it grant. Aside from that, nothing else.
Okay, thank you. Parks, Gary?
Nothing too new at the parks. We're gonna get an early start to playing outdoor free skates in the hockey rink tomorrow. It's gonna be pretty cold, so goal every year is to get it open by Christmas break, and we have the last 4 years, so
Yeah, it's been
hopefully
great.
even earlier this year than next.
I'd rather it wasn't earlier,
I
but,
know, if it's gonna be, we might as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
As long as it doesn't warm up past 30, we'll be okay.
right.
kind of for park. Public Works, there's the putting up decorations next week for Christmas already, for holidays. Yeah, putting a bunch of salt down there.
Mhm. Do you need action on the street improvement pay request?
Yeah.
Okay. Guess we'll go right to that. Can I get a motion for the final pay request?
Make a motion.
Second. Anything, no, it's just the final pay, isn't it?
Yep,
Nothing-
just the final page.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That passes. Public Works still, Gary. Quotes for cameras?
Yeah, so this is at City Hall. It's been, well, a couple years ago, we were notified the cameras that are currently in City Hall are, they're not that we can't have them right now, but they're not, the government's encouraging any other, the federal government's encouraging any government agency not to have this brand of cameras. They were widely popular cameras, but now they're not wanting governments, they're
not
Chinese
secure.
versions
Oh.
of the camera, so it's something we've looked at in place. So it was in the City Hall CIP this year, and I got a couple quotes. Camera prices have gone up a lot over the last year and a half. But this is the same, well, the one that I would recommend, I guess, would be the Anderson technology, and that's the same company that has the camera system in Rec Park for the last 2 or 3 years, and it's worked really well since we've updated it. So this would work with that same system that, and the police would have access to it, obviously. But it would be 3 indoor cameras, and the indoor cameras would have microphones on them, and they'd be in the city council room, one in between the utility billing and the police desk up front there, and then one in the deputy registrar's office. Exterior cameras, there'd be one right on the outside of this wall, covering this parking lot, one at the front entrance, and then one over the back employee parking area. What else can I tell you? That, the audio is just on the interior cameras. That's something that, a little bit of a price increase, but I don't know, on his suggestion, I guess I think it's a good, the camera installer brought that up, and we currently don't have it. I think it would be useful, could be. I think that's everything I can tell you about it. It would have to be a budget adjustment because it is over what was budgeted.
11,000.
Over?
No, we
Oh.
budgeted 11,000.
Jeez.
No.
Okay.
Whew.
Okay.
But he did list some options to, because I told him it was over our budget, so he gave me some options on cutting some costs. So the reuse existing cabling would just be, like, we wouldn't be able to, or we still would have one in Jeff Registrar's office, so that's kind of misleading, but the one in here, we were gonna move a little bit so that it's a the cameras now are 360 cameras, so then you can click into it to view anywhere within that camera. They work really well in the park. But it would be moved over here, the one up front would be moved, now it's in front of utility billing, it would be, placed so that it would cover both desks. So I kind of think that is important to keep. And I thought that, he made a pretty good case for the audio monitoring. So you could get more context in the situations they'd have to go to the police or whatever.
Actually, if at all possible, could we consider maybe the one camera over the main lot over here having audio as well? And then I spoke before about having an advertised safe exchange area for Craigslist sales, child custody exchanges. I think it'd be a good opportunity maybe to put a sign up for that. But especially things like child custody exchanges, it might be important to be able to capture audio as well, just in case there's claims of any threats or anything being said.
How do those work outside? Do they get audio that you can hear?
I have a doorbell camera that has a microphone on it, and for the most part, it does pretty good. A lot of the microphone technology today is good at blocking out wind noises and things like that, and kind of honing in on voices.
So it'd be enough for you to use to,
I would
You know.
assume so. I mean, I guess it would be a question for whichever company is looking to do the install and what they have the capabilities.
so are you looking to approve this tonight or look at?
Yeah, to
Okay.
approve it.
Okay. And you like the Anderson one?
Yeah, that's currently what we have, so.
That's the best.
No, it makes sense.
Was there a number or?
The total is $17,417.41.
That's without the options? that
That's
you-
with the options of
Or with it.
audio and moving the locations of.
So we can't do the reusing existing cable discount?
So we would be reusing some of it in the sense, but the ones on the exterior of the building, like we're adding one here where there's not a camera, so
So it's probably gonna end up being
yeah, it's,
about that anyhow.
About that.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We don't need a motion?
We do have a motion, a
Move for
second,
approval.
don't we?
I don't know.
No, you haven't done that yet.
Oh, all right, now I'll ask for a motion.
So move.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? And we don't wanna wait till next year? That's not gonna get any cheaper.
No, they're not.
Yeah, and I like the idea of the one here.
I've gotten 3 quotes over the last year and a half from the
Yeah.
same installer that, the dynamic of it has changed a little bit in locations and all that, but it has gone up significantly.
Yeah, not surprised. Any other questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, that passes, so that'll be nice to have. When can they do it, Gary?
You can do it yet this year.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
great. Anything else on Public Works? Great, liquor store, Vicky?
So first of all, I'd like to say congratulations, Mayor,
Oh, thank you.
and to the rest of you for staying on council. The ballards out at the liquor store are finished. I love them, they look great. They're purple with 2 gold stripes. Don't know what I was going after there, but. Rum royal.
So they're not green with yellow stripes or gold
They
stripes?
are not yellow stripes, which is what they would have been if they would have matched everything else in the liquor store, so. The sidewalk he will finish that up in the spring, obviously. Mari, my assistant manager, and myself attended the Minnesota Municipal Beverage Association regional meeting in Duluth last month. Our lobbyists for the MMBA were there, along with our MMBA Executive Director Paul, the NLBA President Tony, and our lobbyists. We discussed the THC and the new laws and working on safety measures to get them into the already age-restricted businesses. That is something that we will be working on with our legislators when I go to the Capitol in January. It'll also be something that, nothing will be finalized, obviously, there won't be any changes made until July of next year on that. We also discussed Share a Ride. There's some surplus funds in the state. We'd like to ensure safe rides home to people from our bars like they do in Wisconsin. There would be no cost to the bars, and maybe initially there would be, but they would get reimbursed by this funding that we want to set up so that we can start offering that in our state.
Is that similar to the one in Chisago County and over there, do you know?
Probably,
Okay, because I have that from our ECRDC meeting. And they get a $10, it's like a $10 voucher.
yep.
And then that covers all of, it's Cambridge, because it covers all of Cambridge. And if you live out in the country, you just cover the difference. Your $10 covers you
So
till
that
you
would
get
be-
so
yeah, that's
far.
something interesting that I'd
And
to-
like Dahlheimer Beverages and one of the other ones, some of the distributors cover it along with, I think they got a grant or something. But I'll get more
Yeah,
info,
get
we
that
need to
for
talk
me. I
about
wanna
it.
see that.
Yeah.
They have also said that this has shown a huge increase in drunken driving and deaths due to drunken driving. We also discussed at the meeting, they've been talking for quite a while now, but I think we'll talk about it more at our conference in the spring. The value of hiring full-time employees at our businesses instead of having multiple part-time people. The value of having somebody that works full-time, that's there every day, instead of somebody that works once or twice a week. Just the value of the knowledge that they would have being there every day compared to working once a week or twice a week. The benefits that would be for all of us in the long run. So that is something that I would definitely like to talk about in the future. I think it was a great idea. Well, I'm sure we'll be discussing it more in the future. So I was also approached by the MMBA to join them as a director again. I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure if I want to do it again or not. Our sales are up 18,000 for the year over last year, which basically to me means we're pretty much steady for last year because of where our cost increase is compared to our sales. We're pretty much flat. So strong and steady. I'm noticing a lot of new traffic coming over from the Holiday gas station since they took the fence down and cleaned it up through there. People keep coming up to our back door and trying to come in our back door. So I might need to get some signage of some sort made on my back doors. I've even seen them walk up to the cave cooler door on the outside of the ramp and try to walk in. So happy about the new business though, so not complaining. That's all I got.
Okay, thanks, Vicki. Fire department, I don't see, Jesse's not here. You don't have anything from them, do you? Okay. Planning and zoning, discussion on fees.
Yeah, I had Dolores do some research with other cities to see what they were charging on planning and zoning fees. I just want to bring this to council's attention to, it's been quite a while since we've increased the planning and zoning fees. And you gotta keep in mind too that we're paying a consultant as a part of that as well. Although some of the subdivisions, planned unit developments, we do require an escrow be paid that covers engineering and consultant fees. So, and that's usually, can be anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000, So those are some of the items that have come into play. As you can see, we're pretty much almost the same as some of these other cities, but like $50, $275, $250, rezoning $300, Zimmerman $500. That's seems to be quite a lot. Preliminary plat, you're seeing, like in the city of Mora, it's $400 plus 10 per lot. You know, we're kind of flat across the board at $200, so we don't
Yeah,
have any
some of them.
varying fees there.
Well, I mean, most of the categories were down at least a little, according to neighboring areas. So there is room.
Yeah.
Cost of publication is what really is hard.
Ken, where's your fee thing? I don't see.
It'd be nice if you could just do that online and call it good. Yeah. When did you want to look at this? Just discussion tonight and,
Yeah, discussion tonight to see if you want to bring this back as an ordinance in December.
okay.
I don't think I have that in mind. Thank you.
So to bring this back, maybe do an average of these cities and consider an increase there,
And kind of see what it looks like.
and bring that back as an ordinance.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, it looks like we're the lowest in just about all the categories except for the vacations.
And costs have just gone up. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of, got to recoup some of
Oh,
that.
yeah. Boy, to run anything in the paper, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, these other ones are Princeton, Moore, and some, they're current.
That's our current fees.
Princeton.
Okay, then I'll get
Everybody
that.
okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good. We'll move on to the airport. Anything there?
Is there much going
Thank you.
on at the airport? Probably not. Right now, it's pretty quiet out there. I'll probably be expecting a letter for the Phase 3. That should be coming pretty soon, I would think, for the taxiway, Phase 3 of the project for taxiways. So that should be coming soon.
Okay. Committees, I think meetings are coming up. They weren't any recently, but I think we have meetings
Yep,
coming
they'll
up
be
in
coming up.
those. EDC, we are not meeting this month.
Not
correct?
meeting in November or December.
Unless we have to.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, any unfinished business? No. New business? Agreement between Mid-Minnesota Inspections and City of Milaca, their renewal. Any changes?
Yeah, they went from 60% to 65%.
Of course.
How is that fund looking right now? It is-
Well, we're up, I anticipate when I looked at it over this last week, we are gonna be really close to, we're under, I budgeted 45,000. We'll definitely be under that. And I'm looking at for 2023, it should be in the ballpark of about 33,000.
That's total revenue or expenses?
That's what we pay him.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
so
is-
this
What
year,
is the revenue?
this year he's, we paid him out 27,000 plus, I mean, so that's where we're at right now with him. And revenue is in the 30s.
Okay. Does revenue cover planning and zoning?
Not for building inspections, no.
No, but I mean, what we're paying the contractor for planning and zoning?
For Stantec,
Yeah.
no, our fees don't cover a lot of that, so. If you have escrow in there, that takes care of a lot of it, when there's a big development.
Mhm.
But, yeah, it's one of those, the must-haves as part of what we need to do, so.
How close, you know?
I think, when I had you check, I think it was about 12,000 we've paid Stantec. And I think in our budget for next year, if we have a lot of development going on, I'd probably anticipate anywhere from 13 to 15,000 in there. Just depends, unless building and zoning items really come to a halt.
So we're probably 5,000 to 10,000 that we're having to pay out for planning
Yeah.
and zoning?
At least, yeah. Yeah. So. And we can take a look at that more when we get into the budget. I'll kind of bring those aspects to you.
Is this 60 to 65 a discussion, or is this just,
That's what he's asking,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah. You certainly have the option to go back to him and say we would like to continue on with the 60%.
Well, even if I know expenses have gone up for everybody, but they've gone up for us too. I mean, can you meet in the middle at like 62 or 63 or something?
We can certainly send it back to him.
Yeah, 'cause-
We do have another month, so.
yeah.
Especially if it's not covering the planning and zoning.
Yeah.
costs.
Yeah, I mean, I know we got it, and they did a really nice job and all that, but
Yeah.
still.
Well, we did ask him too on the minimum permit fees.
Mhm.
for like
The $40.
Out of the $50. We asked him if he could go down to $30 on that, but he didn't want to.
Yeah,
So I don't know if we want to look at raising these flat fees of deck and fence permits and stuff. I mean, I know he'll take a little more percentage of it too, but,
well, he'll just get 40 of whatever we increase it,
right?
you know?
But right now,
So-
we're only making $10 in on those, so
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
something we want to
Okay.
consider.
Okay, so 62%, I will get in contact
Yeah,
with
since
you.
he won't come off the other one.
Okay,
Is that all you need on that?
that's all I need on that.
Okay. And we're holding off on B, probably till December, hopefully. And C, developers agreement with Milaca Mini Storage. Oh, let's go to the right one up here. It'll be Resolution 2252, authorizing the sale of real property owned by the city of Milaca to Milaca Mini Storage LLC. Can I get a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, and that is you guys, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, would like us to come up and talk.
Do you want them on the microphone, Mary?
It does sound better.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm Tom Flanagan, and my partner here is Matt Haugen. We're the owners of Milaca Mini Storage in town, and looking to buy the land that the city owns now and develop on that land. So we have a draft of the development agreement that Tammy has given us. A couple of items I think we'd want to talk about regarding that. And do you all have copies of?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, where's my copy?
It would be
In the new stuff?
in the new.
Yep, there we go.
So yeah, I mean, overall, we want to invest in this community. We want to put up a storage facility that meets and exceeds the standards that set forth by the community. A couple of items that was presented here that we'd like to address. One of them is under the scope of work and compliance. Number 3, it does talk about applicable sewer access and water access charges. We'd ask for that to be removed, just since we're not planning to have any bathrooms, any sewer, any water involved with it. So that's something we would ask to have removed. Another item under C, development plans. It talks about the site plan, landscape plan, building plans being completed and approved by January 1st of 2023. I'm just looking for a little bit of clarity there. You know, we've engaged with contractors regarding that, and as an example, if we submit what we'd like to do by that time, which is reasonable, we can do that. If they tell us if we want to do a blue building and they tell us that color doesn't work, we want to switch it to like a gray, how detailed we need to be with that. It'd be helpful for us to get some clarity on that. And then under D, there's a list of things. It does address, again, the connections to city installed sanitary sewer system, which we don't see. It references site grading and ponding. Now, we definitely understand the grading. We want it to grade. We want it, the drainage system and putting forth a plan there, working with an excavation company and throughout that. But just removing the word ponding, since we don't believe that any ponding will be necessary. And then again, at the last one, it does talk to connections to a PUC installed water system, being that we don't plan to have any water, and we don't want or need any water there. We would request to have that removed. The next one's letter E, the delivery schedule. It says developers shall complete all required improvements by June 1st, 2023. One of the things there, we are putting forth a plan that we would plan to do in phases. With a number of buildings there, if we choose to build 2 of those buildings, just sort of in terms of how we want to do this project, we don't want to put forth 30,000 square feet of storage and we take 4 or 5 years for it to fill. Just lowers our risk profile, and we want to make sure that we're building something that is in demand. And even with unit types that are in demand, if we first 2 buildings, we find out that the bigger units are more in demand or smaller ones, it gives us that flexibility. So we would ask for some flexibility on the delivery schedule. Certainly we'd want to start. So if it's phase 1 delivered by June 1st, or if weather pushes it back, and contractors can be tough if it's July 1st.
Wouldn't October 31st be more beneficial to you
Yeah.
as builders?
Yeah.
I mean, if we were to reword this and put phase 1 by October 31st, 2023, phase 2, October 2024, I mean, we could do this.
Yeah.
You're going to do this in 3 phases, correct?
Yeah, we're looking to do it in two to three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even having, a couple years, and obviously, when we say between phases, it's not like it's going to be, one phase is done and there's like a bunch of unfinished building materials and all that. We would want it, it's a business. We want it to look clean. We want it to look good. So, if we finish 2 buildings and the rest of it is gravel and just, looking good but not completed, we'd appreciate the time there. I would say even a 3rd year would be appreciated.
So would you be agreeable if the language choose required improvements in phase 1, October 31st, 2023, phase 2, October 31st, 2024, and phase 3, October 31st, 2025?
Yeah, we'd be agreeable to that.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Is that, everybody okay with
Yeah,
that?
that
Okay.
phases make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty much there's a few other things. It says that the warranty, of work, landscaping, and driveways, all like landscaping shall be warranted for a period of 2 years. I guess it's just like a little understanding of what exactly that might entail, and maybe that's something, Tammy, you could just give us clarity on too.
Okay, I will check with Phil and Gary on that, and then I'll email both of you on that.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
have them clarify exactly what your needs are gonna be within that area.
Awesome. Yeah, beyond that, we're excited about it. We'd love to, take that land off the city's roll and put some buildings in there and, get some more tax revenue coming in and yeah, we look forward to building a good project and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, so-
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So are these things we can clear up tonight, or is this something Damien has to do?
Well, there'll be some clarity on a few issues, so we can bring this back. Get some of these changes in there, send that over to Tom and Matt, send it over to Damien with the clarification. Have Gary and Phil involved in some of the site work.
But it all seems workable. that
Yeah,
We can take care of.
absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
Good, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
That's great.
I guess I would say that if we can get this developed and created, there is a possibility, if it's all approved and everything looks good, we certainly can bring it back at the next meeting. Is that, okay?
Yeah. When was
Are
the
you-
next meeting?
December.
December.
December,
Yeah, 15. 15,
15th. December 15th.
which is
Yeah.
another issue I gotta bring up.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if there's a preference from the city's perspective of us actually purchasing the land, this year, next year, we're flexible.
Okay.
We'd like to get it to the point where we can be ordering the steel, usually it's
Sure.
about 6 to 10
Yeah.
weeks.
And then for our loan too, we'd like to have it close at least by mid-January.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Interest rates, we're
Yeah,
not,
we'll
we
be.
want to get that locked in. Our
Yeah.
lender is indicating that as long as we can start drawing on funds by mid-January, which we would like to have, be ordering the steel buildings by then. So I think that
Okay.
would be, I think
Yeah.
that would be helpful to get it.
Okay.
This can be all cleared up at the council
Yeah,
meeting in
it shouldn't be a
December.
problem.
Yeah, and then if it's approved there, we can close shortly thereafter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, awesome.
Good, thank you. All set there?
All set?
Okay. We'll move on to D then, gambling policy for the city of Milaca. This is so you've got the new policy and you've got guidelines right with it, correct?
I gave you lots of information on this.
Yeah.
So being that we didn't have any gambling policies in place for the contributions that we receive, it would be time now to actually be able to get something in place so that people within city limits can request donations that come from this fund, following the contribution guidelines that are laid out in the gambling statutes. And when it comes to the total amount donated to any one organization will be decided by the council.
And the contributions list is basically right off the gambling control board.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know, I thought it all looked pretty good. I didn't have any questions really.
Okay. And then just-
Are you gonna need action on this, or is this just?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get a motion then for approval?
I'll make a motion.
No, second.
Anybody have any questions on it? That was pretty clear.
I did give you a handout as far as what we have in the funds currently for this. And within our budget process for next year, this is an item that we can actually add into there so that we can build up our trails out there. I know the Milaca Trails Initiative, they're gonna try for a grant again. I'll be writing that grant again for them to get that going again. And they're due in March. And the last one was for $35,000 and our city match is $35,000. So we would contribute the gambling funds towards that with DNR approval on those trails. The trails maintenance, we do annually amount that gets transferred over. We could have annual kids events for activities and facilities for youth. That is a possibility. Police and fire equipment, we can, at their discretion, maybe bulletproof vests, fire department, whatever the equipment that they need. Usually it's their gear or, all of their suits, which are not cheap. Senior center dining program is one of the possibilities that can be done with these funds. And music event in Rec Park is another one. Under state statutes, we are allowed to spend $3,500 on a band, which is something that we can do with these funds, so. So this is just a handout, doesn't need any action. We'll talk about more of this in the budget process.
Which one doesn't need action? The list you just gave?
This list.
But you want action on the contribution, on our policy?
Yep, you already did action on that.
But we didn't vote, did we?
You didn't vote,
Right,
not yet.
okay. Thought I got ahead of myself, but I didn't. Any other questions on the gambling policy? All in favor? Aye. Gambling policy passes. 613D, Project Forward Incorporated donation request.
And I would recommend council deny this. I have had a few conversations with just Jani, and it looks like they provide some transportation. It looks like they were asking for wages and operational cost, which we aren't allowed to do wages. That wouldn't be part of it. They are getting donations from the American Legion for $5,000 next month, per her email. They haven't had a conversation with the Milaca Fire Department Gambling Fund yet, but that is another possibility for them to receive funds from. The Initiative Foundation is donating $5,000. They received a private loan of $12,500. And let's see, Walmart has donated to them $1,500. And they are also funded through the Mille Lacs County Housing Support, but our grants only cover housing and housing-related expenses. So what they would be asking for is operational or employees, which wouldn't be a good use of funds. They only have 2 clients right now.
Is money they're getting, is that to set it up, or they actually?
It's ongoing that they get from Mille Lacs County every year for the grant that they get.
How long have they been in existence?
I couldn't find that on their website.
I looked, I couldn't find anything.
It's very brief information on their website. It's not very detailed.
And there's transportation services being done again through ECRDC. That might be a place for them
Yeah.
to look at for transportation. There's a lot being done with that organization.
Yeah, I had her try to reach out to TRICAP, but she said their clients are mostly late at night and TRICAP doesn't go at night.
Okay.
So,
Well, I know there's some other ones that.
well,
they
isn't
have.
it that shoe tran or whatever?
Yep.
There's another one. Isn't there a
And I
Sue's
brought
bus
in that
service?
booklet. I think I gave to
Yeah.
you. from our last ECRDC meeting and had all those resources. That might be something good to pass on to them. What kind of action do you need on that? Do we,
I would recommend denial.
just a recommendation? Okay.
Yeah.
How's the council feeling on that?
I'd like to see, is there any more information that we could get?
That's all I could
That's all I
find.
could get?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would want to see some more information too before I would commit anything to them, but it's.
It's
yeah,
pretty
very-
vague, I mean, what
pretty
they,
big, yeah.
and if they're using it just to pay themselves,
If,
we
One of
can't
the-
do that.
one of the emails was they want to buy a van,
Yeah.
and I'd like to see if we're gonna give something that would go to either a veteran, homeless, or transportation for,
And I'd rather see that we help our citizens within city limits first.
yeah.
I mean,
Which is part of the policy that we just
it is.
enacted, yep. So at this time, we don't want to take action on it?
I would prefer not to.
Yeah, same with me.
We're all good with that?
Okay.
Okay. No miscellaneous council comments. Lindsay?
Oh, we've got the
Oh,
chamber event.
what'd I miss?
Chamber event?
See, I did it again. It's like, and I crossed it out even. And you even printed it large. Sorry about that. 13E, new business, special event permit for the Milaca Chamber tree lighting on November 25th. It's their annual event. Do you need motion on those?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
No, second?
It's a really good event and it keeps getting better every year. Any questions, any comments? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Permit passes. Now, we good to go to council comments, right?
Right.
All right,
I have none.
okay. Ken, anything?
Yeah, I'm really happy about the clinic here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's a real plus for the community. So,
Yeah. Do you want to announce the?
Yeah, it's just, since you brought that up, that's a good, I'm glad you did. And it's in the paper, I believe, that the new Mille Lacs Health System clinic will have their grand opening from 4 to 7 on Wednesday, November 30th. And they're going to start taking appointments beginning on December 5th. Well, they're taking them now, but they'll
Yeah.
accept appointments to start on December 5th, 2022. Last time we were up there, they've made huge improvements to that facility. If you don't know, it's in our old clinic, which was our old hospital. They really did a nice job. It looks nice in there and it'll be a nice facility.
you said the grand opening is November 30th.
That's the ribbon cutting and, yeah, their
Wednesday,
grand
November
opening.
30th, 4 to 7,
Yeah.
open house.
Yep. Anything else, Ken?
No, that's all.
Doris, anything?
I just, that TIF district, I think is a good way to go. We haven't done that for a long time and it really benefits the city and,
Mhm.
I mean, that, otherwise, who knows how long that lot would sit there
Yeah,
vacant.
right.
So I'm encouraged to see that moving
Yep.
forward. That'll be a nice improvement to the city.
Mm-hmm. Some good economic development going on there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And same with the mini storage,
Yeah.
especially like that.
Yeah, that'll be nice because that's just sat
Especially
there.
like the part where you said it'll bring in more tax revenue.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I kind of, yes.
I'd have to see if you have one my boat will fit in. That might be a project. We might have to talk.
We're
Anything
gonna
else,
have an
Doris?
area outside too.
Yeah, I don't like
for
it
a boat.
outside.
Yeah, I know.
can do that. Anything else, Norris?
Nope.
Mine is just a question, more of a concern. We got our schedule and we play we have games on the next council nights. December 15th, we're at Piers. January 19th, we're in Albany. Any possible way of moving those? Is that a problem?
And to move the date,
Yeah, because I
December-
can't move mine.
December 14th, are you available?
Yeah, if that works for people.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay, then you need a motion to change.
I'm retired that day.
I'll move that we change the December meeting to the 14th.
Okay,
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, that worked pretty good. And then what about January? Do you want to wait on that one, or do you want to?
do we have January calendar out here yet?
It'll be
Yeah,
the
we do.
19th.
So that would be the 19th.
Go on the 18th again, would that? The Wednesday?
December
For me. Yeah, will that work? That's not a
For
big problem to
January?
do? That would
No.
really be nice, because otherwise I don't know what I do.
January 18th,
Great.
2023.
Can I get a motion for that?
Yep.
So move.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Okay, so note that in yours, so that'll be
I just
December.
did.
Okay.
Okay,
I put that on my calendar.
thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate everybody's flexibility on that. I
Yeah.
can't move games, so. With nothing else, move for adjournment?
So move.
Well, I can't move, sorry. I'm asking you. Yeah. so moved.
I got Lindsay and Norris.
Yep, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, very
We're
good.
adjourned. Okay, Albany.
We're
We
good.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
All right, get that down.
You don't, you're feeling very good,
March, when we get to that one too, 'cause I'll be
Where are you going?